My name is Taiji Terasaki, and welcome to Transcendients, Heroes at Borders, an exhibition of my work created in collaboration with the Japanese American National Museum. This multimedia exhibition celebrates heroes in the Los Angeles community, individuals who advocate and fight for those who face discrimination at physical or psychological borders. The word transcendience is made up of two words, transcend and transient. In my limited way, I recognize those first who have transcended hardships, and secondly, those who stand up for the righteous cause for the betterment of others. Do you remember playing with picture cards that would reveal something when you tilted them one way and something else when you turned them slightly at a different angle? I made some large-scale versions here to illustrate the borders that the heroes in this exhibition push beyond every day. They include the limits of faith, gender, discrimination, racism, and other forces that oppress and hold people back. But seen from a different angle, these limits also present opportunities for change, a promise to unleash forces that affirm acceptance and compassion, even for those with whom we might disagree. Every life is a rich tapestry, and this is certainly so for the heroes in this room. They work tirelessly to break the confines of inequality, prejudice, discrimination, and other bonds that hold people back. To honor these heroes in our midst, I created photographic weavings to capture and honor their life's work. Each weaving is only a window into the rich diversity of their lives and what they stand for. Patrice Cullors is an artist, organizer, educator, and popular public speaker. She is co-founder of Black Lives Matter Global Network. Cullors describes art as an economic and spiritual engine that, if used properly, can transform the world. Father Greg Boyle is the founder of Homeboy Industries. It is the largest gang intervention, rehabilitation, and re-entry program in the world. Satsuki Ina is a writer, filmmaker, psychotherapist, and activist. We Came Back for You is a film based on one of her poems by the same name.
So we came back to let you know that we will not forget you. We came back to drum our message loud and clear.
It features Ina reciting her poem over a montage of photos of her childhood in a maximum security incarceration camp for Japanese Americans during World War II, as well as images of Ina's current activism in the U.S.-Mexico border, where immigrant refugee families are being separated and held in detention centers indefinitely. After my father died, I needed to release the grief I was feeling and at the same time to celebrate his life. I found out that many people share the desire to honor someone who made an impact on them. It might be someone famous or an unsung hero. I created the memorial boxes as vessels to hold memories of individuals who, although no longer living, continue to teach, inspire, and lead the way for us. I invited people from the community to come to the museum and dedicate a memorial box to someone who made a difference in their lives and to celebrate their memory. Dean Matsubayashi was a visionary. He spent his career creating opportunities for people to live in safe, affordable homes in the thriving neighborhoods throughout Los Angeles, including his beloved Little Tokyo. Sadly, his life ended too soon, but he was able to see his dream come true for actualizing the community gymnasium, the Terasaki Budokan. Wataru Wat Masaka made history in 1947 as the first person of color to be accepted into the NBA. His career with the University of Utah led to his induction into the Utah Sports Hall of Fame in 1999, and more recently, the James Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. In 1944, Esther Takei was selected to be the first Japanese American to leave camp and return to the exclusion zone. Despite initial protests and death threats, the experiment was a success, which led to an earlier-than-planned release. When stay-at-home orders were imposed on much of the United States and the world, I found myself socially distanced in my studio. Responding to the uncertainties and anxieties the pandemic brought, I tried to find light in the positive stories. So I started a meditative weaving process, creating one woven paper work every day for 100 days. At first, I focused on frontline healthcare workers, but as the virus proliferated and the world changed, I started to tell stories about race and class, food sustainability, art, science, and the climate crisis. These weavings became material expressions of both compassion and sorrow, and an effort to spread a message of hope. On day 20, I covered James Choi and Kristen Fukushima, who founded the Little Tokyo Community Feeding Program. The program provides meals for hospitality workers affected by COVID-19. Meals are purchased from a rotating list of small businesses in Little Tokyo and the Arts District. On day 72, I featured Viet Thanh Nguyen. During this global pandemic and civil unrest, Nguyen has been speaking out. What portal or door will we go through now? Nguyen talks about his responsibility as a writer to illuminate how colonization and systemic racism were embedded in the beginnings of this country under the guise of the American dream. Once again, during global crisis, hate erupted. On day 99, I highlighted anti-Asian racism. The truism, in times of trouble you find out who your real friends are, has been tested as the pandemic places stress on the ways friends, neighborhoods, community, the nation, and the world treat racial differences. Following news coverage of the coronavirus, I came across stories of healthcare workers who have died from COVID-19. Kaiser Health News and The Guardian had tracked thousands of healthcare worker deaths in the United States in their Lost on the Frontline database. I wanted to help share their work and commemorate these fallen heroes. I tried to capture the spiritual movement of these healthcare workers in mist portraits and then print them on long kozo paper scrolls. Barbara Badoni was Native American and wanted to help others like her. She enrolled to become a certified nursing assistant, which became her calling. Barbara passed away from COVID on May 16, 2020, at the age of 56. Chris Guzman was a young nurse who lived a life of no regrets. She packed a lot into her short life, working full-time when studying to become a registered nurse. Smart, funny, and outgoing, with 3 children, she was only 35 when she passed away. Dr. Adeline Fagan was the second of 4 sisters, all pursuing or considering careers in the medical field. Her colleagues say she was the most likely to be found skipping and singing down the hall to a delivery. She was only 28 when she died. Back outside, on the plaza, is the final part of the exhibition. Step inside this container and imagine what it might be like to be an immigrant at our country's border. During World War II, my grandparents and parents were subjected to unjust incarceration when they and over 127,000 Japanese Americans were put into concentration camps. Since then, our government has continued to incarcerate families at our borders and have even separated children from their parents. This horrifies me. Imagine what it might be like. What do you feel? Should anyone be treated this way?